Hello and what's up? Welcome to Conjuror Community. I'm Alex and I'm here with Steve from Conjuror Community, the world's best magic club. And today we are going to look at the magic of Eugene Burger. Do us a real quick favor and hit like and subscribe and you'll be notified every time we go live with a new video. Hey Steve, how's it going, man?
It's going all right, man. It's going all right. It's just us today.
It's just us today. Again, they let us take over.
And we pulled the Eugene straw.
Well, you know, I've been sort of itching to watch some Eugene. You know, Eugene is one of the greats, and I must admit, I'm excited to see that other book. You know, I'm fascinated by this idea that Eugene Burger is releasing books after he's passed. You know, it's all of his real stuff. You know, it's
amazing what he can.
I've been having fun with that other one, that's for sure. It's good. He's one of the greats, and he was definitely, when I was coming up, one of the kind dudes who was able that you know, he really helped me in a lot of ways. He showed me a lot of things about magic that I don't know that I would have understood completely if I learned it in any other way. And his books are really, they're wonderful. I think that Mastering the Art of Magic, which is all this theory been put together as one bound thing, I think that's like one of the most classic theory books that there is, and sort of a necessity. You know, I love it, all that stuff. It means something new every time you come to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think of like, there's like a group of magicians that like have a different perspective, you know, or they develop a different, like Eugene is one of them, you know, where he has his own like room in the world of magic. It's just very Eugene, you know what I mean? And I think David Williamson's another one, right? He's got his own room. It's like, yeah, you can go to a lecture for him and it's going to be great and funny and everything. You might learn a trick, but you're never going to create what he can create.
Right. He's got his own thing. And I think that those guys are well aware of that, and they do their best to sort of like let you peek behind the curtain enough to understand that there's a process, but you're not going to be them.
So, you know? But Eugene is like one of those standalone guys like that. Wouldn't you say? I mean, he's just that standalone. He's got his own little flag that he planted, and it's very Eugene and very good, you know, and very
it's all the things that you would want from like a pop star or like an actor. He's got his own look. He's got his own way of speaking. He's got a lot of his own philosophies. All the magic that you see, it's immediately identifiable as Eugene Burger magic, right?
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. And in fact, I put together some interesting clips of Eugene, and I sort of started at the beginning on purpose so that we could see Eugene doing something that he might not necessarily do these days, or you know, at the days of the material that we really speak a bunch. And it seemed to be more like close-up walk around stuff, like table stuff that he would do. And it's sort of before he realized this persona of Eugene Burger. You can see it's sort of like it's sort of in flux still. He's still becoming the Eugene Burger that we know.
He's developing.
Let's start with that. It's actually pretty cool. Let me do this. Let me set this thing up. Perfect. And let me share this with some sound. Good. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at
Steven's video.
Yeah, look at that. He's wearing a tuxedo, man. I don't, you know, you don't see.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Anyway, all right.
Well, here we are. It is nice to be with you here in the studio and with you at home. Your first name is?
Nancy.
Nancy, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can make the video louder.
Nice meeting you. Nancy and Cheryl.
See, let me do this. I think I have to turn it up more on my end, and that'll do it. It's weird. All right, let me see if that does it. I think that might have done it. I think that might have done it. And we go back to, sorry, here we go. No, I lost it. Oh, man.
Oh, it's the secret manuscript.
Hang on, don't.
The secret manuscript.
There it is. Okay. Shh. Special surprise.
It's Alex's memoir. It's his memoir.
All right, here we go. I've got it under control.
There he is.
All right, let's try this again.
Start with this because it tells me how observant you are. You see, if you're not very observant, this is a lot easier to do. Yeah. Nancy, what do you think it is?
Yellow ball.
Not bad. Have you ever heard of sawing a lady in half?
Yes, I have.
You have. This is called sawing a yellow ball in half because you get two of them. Yeah, two of them. There's the one that squeaks and the one that doesn't. Yeah, or is that the one that squeaks and that the one that doesn't? Maybe I squeak. Now, you get the first question, Cheryl gets the hard ones. Nancy, hold your hand palm up, a little time on the rack and you'll fit perfectly. Now, if I took one yellow ball and put it in my hand, one in your hand, hold it tightly. If I took my ball, sounds kind of kinky, doesn't it? And threw it to you. Now think for a minute. How many balls in my hand?
None.
Good with numbers, I like that. How many balls in your hand? Open your hand. Yes, exactly, right. It's the thing is your questions are harder. Yeah, it's addition. Ready? 1 plus 1 equals...
2.
Yeah, normally it does. But I tend to cheat. Yes, really. Let's try that again. Look, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Here's where I fake you out. Ready? Minus 1 goes back in the pocket. How many in the hand?
2.
You don't have the ring of the game. Here, hold your hand palm up. The one with the nice watch. Well, you have that actually glued to your hand. How very clever. Now, if I took all 3 of them, hold them very tightly. Please let go of my finger. Thank you. There's that 3% everywhere. Now, if I didn't do anything at all, how many balls in your hand?
4.
She wants to escalate the game. Slowly open your hand. Well, onward and upward. Now,
And that is a pretty straightforward SpongeBall routine.
Yeah, that was the first time that I ever saw the jumbo load, was seeing Eugene do it, where you do the multiple balls in someone's hand. And to me, that was always an elusive, wow, that takes a lot of courage, you know?
Yeah.
And it does, because you're definitely, you're shoving a lot of balls into someone's hand, you know? And I've also played with the other one where it's like you make it form into a big jumbo ball in their hand,
Yeah.
you know, where you have it twisted and it looks like, you know, interesting, but it's interesting to see Eugene Berger do
Yeah.
a classic SpongeBall routine. You don't associate SpongeBalls with him.
And it's very straight. When I say straightforward, it's just like, it's a pretty, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. If I say standard, I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like a pretty
commercial
standard.
It's a very cool routine.
SpongeBall routine, you know? And that just goes
easy
to show
to understand.
And that just goes to show you why it's great, why SpongeBalls are great, and why they're so popular. Because it's straightforward, it's easy for people to understand, and it's super visual. And it's just, you know, I mean, if you're not doing some form of sponge something, don't call them sponge anything, but I'm just saying, if you don't do something,
That's right.
Bunny.
Yeah, just call it the ball trick.
Yeah, the ball trick, whatever it is.
That's
You know,
right. I mean, the reality is that it's really, really a tough trick to beat. I have a tough time leaving SpongeBalls at home, you know.
It's tough.
And there was a lot of years where I consciously, and it was a Eugene Berger idea. He said something like, I don't want to be perceived as a man who carries around that little red ball, you know, or the little sponge ball. And I don't want to be perceived as that guy either. And I like sort of let it go for a few years. But when you look at the reaction that the thing gets, I mean, it's tough. It's such a great piece of magic, man. It really sets the stage.
Yeah, the reason why it's around so long is that it's like, it's just a solid thing, you know.
It's a real classic.
And that's why Eugene's doing it, you know, because it's just something solid. But the reason I started carrying a very short SpongeBall routine that I do with just 2 balls.
Me too. Yeah.
Is because so many times I would get to a place at a gig or something, and I'd be like, God, I really wish I had those SpongeBall. This would be a perfect spot for it. You know, you get some kids or something. You know, I don't work for a lot of kids. You know, I mean,
but when you do,
you're like, dang, it would be so perfect, right? This is exactly what I need right here, you know. But
yep.
You know,
I have them tucked into every case everywhere because, you know,
they're cheap.
I'm not going to be without them now.
That's the
They're
great
cheap.
thing about.
I buy a giant bag of them these days.
Yeah,
Just don't
that's
even
what's
think
great
it.
about sponge balls is just like you see Eugene did right there, right? He finished, they're everywhere. He just threw them on the floor, right? And he's going to go on to the next thing, whatever it is. It's just like not even worth. They're of no value. Of no value.
Exactly. So this next one is it's interesting because there's sort of a version of it that we'll get into in a later at a later date, but it's the germ of the idea in a lot of ways. I think it's the most mad version of this trick. It's a coin trick he has, but I think it's wonderful. It's definitely one of his favorites that have been around, and it's been around in his repertoire for a bit here. So let's take a look at this. This is fun.
I have to show you this. It is a red die. Now, sometimes when I do this, people say to me, oh, it has something to do with that ring. No. There's the ring. 2 empty hands and a red die. Now, the die is not weighted or loaded, and every time I throw it, I get a different number. Look, there's a number 3, and there's a number 2, and there's a number 2. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Here, Cheryl, give it a throw. You got a 4. Not bad. Now, here's the thing. If I took the die and just rubbed it between my hands, it would turn white. Now, when the die is white, you can do some weird things with it. Let me show you. 3 1917 silver $half, with the Lady Liberty on one side and the American Eagle drinking a quart of oil on the other. Oh, yeah, you have to see it. It's right there, yeah. Now, here's the thing. If you take the coins and one at a time and put them in my left hand, 1. On top of that, 2. On top of that, 3. The little die goes in my right hand, under the table. Ready? 1, 2. Hear it? That was the sound of 1 coin going through the table and joining the little die. Yes, it was. Oh, you're applauding, but I know you don't believe a word of this, but it's true. Look, 1 coin goes into the left hand. The second coin goes right on top of it, and the third coin goes here with the little die. 1, 2. One coin. Now, I have to be honest with you. The last coin is always the most difficult. This time you're watching closer, see? So 1 coin goes into the hand, 2 coins and the die in this hand. Now that is fair, isn't it, Cheryl? Nancy? Yeah. Fair. How do you feel about that? Yeah, people seldom feel good about that. I did that, however, to excite your suspicions. Look, 1 coin. And the hen-pin chen move that didn't happen, a little joke for those people out there. 2 coins and the die. 1, 2. Press down on my hand. Thank you. No coins. Now, look. 1 coin in my left hand. The second coin in my left hand. The third coin in my left hand. The little die right on top. Press it once. A little too hard. Here. Hold your hand palm up. Yeah, right here? Yeah, here. Blow on the die. Perfect.
a neat little routine, isn't it?
It's a neat little routine. But the thing that I really wanted to point out is that it's like Eugene usually he's like speaking of the earth or like things are happening. And that's like the beginning of him just being a close-up guy. We're doing it as, let me show you the magic, right? Step by step, let's show you the effects. And it's interesting to see him sort of progress into this other thing that we all has. And that, you know,
this is very early. Yeah, it's very early Eugene right here.
Still very talented, very skilled, but he's not the Eugene that we remember. You know, he evolved into this next thing. And that's sort of what the next little bit gets into here. So let's let me keep that going on here. Hang on one second.
What's nice about that coins through table is it's got some interest to it with the die, but again, it's a very straightforward handling.
That's right. That's right. Actually, I have one more here that's, we'll get to it later and we'll see a more evolved version of it, but it's interesting to see because it's technically like it's flawless, right? It's just another beautiful piece of magic, but let's take a look here. Let's do this. Here we go.
In many ways, magicians are like normal people. Oh, yes. One way is that they have favorites, and this is mine. But we have to set the stage. Now, the candle has absolutely nothing to do with this, but it makes the atmosphere a lot more festive, and so I like to use it. Yellow cotton thread that I get at Marshall Fields in Chicago, and so it is perfectly respectable. In fact, it could be more respectable than me. In fact, I kind of hope it is, because thread does not have a lot of fun, you know. Now, I'm going to take several feet of thread, and using vampire-like teeth, a recurring theme, I will now sever the thread into smaller units. Notice how quickly he does this. Notice also, at no point does the thread cry out. In fact, it kind of enjoys it in an arcane kind of way. Now, this is an example of pure sleight of hand, as opposed to just messing around. I'm going to take all of the pieces and leaving one piece only in my right hand, I'm going to roll the pieces into a ball. As they say in Dick and Jane novellas, roll, roll, roll. And then I'm going to roll the little ball onto the center of this piece and just hope it hangs there. Nancy, your big moment has arrived. Pinch your fingers together like this and pinch the little ball once. Absolutely perfect. You're welcome. Look.
Great. Just great, man.
Just a great little piece, you know?
It's classic. I think it's very poetic. I think it's really one of those things you could do without saying anything, right?
Now,
he doesn't do it like that. He definitely has more to it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I was going to say that, but we have a delay going today. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I don't notice it on my end.
Yeah, no, I don't know why, and I don't think we can fix it, but just letting you know. Okay. Didn't he used to cut the thread by burning it on the candle?
I think that's what he does now.
Or what he did, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see another version of this in a later Eugene Berger episode where he sort of what that evolved into. Like I said, I just wanted to look at the beginning and then move into, you know, what we know about him, because it's interesting to see that process, at least for
Of
me.
course.
You know,
No, it
you know.
is. Yeah, absolutely. I think it
So
should be for
and
anybody.
now yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But now we're into it. Now we're into definitely what we would know as more the modern Eugene Berger. So let's get into it, because this is really a beautiful thing here. Let's get into it here. We'll go full screen. Here we go.
Well, what I want to do is some magic. Hello. I'm here with Kathleen and Mike, and I'm going to show them something rather interesting. And before I do that, I shall first set the stage with a magic carpet. Don't look in the magic box, Kathleen. Your eyes will fall out. Little candle. And here, tell the matchbox to stand up.
Please stand up.
Tell it to fall down.
Fall down.
Much easier. Tell it to open.
Open.
And not only that, the best part is that you can actually check this out as I light the candle.
Oh.
I did it for you. Now, one of the questions people ask me is whether I have certain secret preparatory exercises.
Do you?
Yes. In fact, I'll show you one. It's done with the Magician's Friend, a pack of playing cards. And first of all, you can see that these cards really are quite mixed. Here's the idea. You square the cards up, you place them down, you think of an ace. Take a deep breath. And you cut to an ace. Well, let's try it again, shall we? Why not? You think of an ace. And you cut to one. Oh, I know this seems rather amazing, but I bet you could do it too. Do you want to try? Yeah, you. Here, think of an ace and cut the deck.
Okay, think of an ace.
The ace of hearts for you. Well, that's not bad, but of course
Look how
you
strong
are
that
going to be
was.
defending mankind everywhere.
The pressure's
The
on.
pressure's on,
The
exactly.
gauntlet's been
The gauntlet's
thrown.
been thrown, exactly. Mike, do it. Cut the deck. Turn the card over. Well, yeah, but you did it the hard way, right? Say yes.
I guess, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
well, M, first letter of your name. I, K, and wouldn't you be surprised if this were the ace of spades?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did.
Look at how powerful that was.
It was a simple ace cutting routine, but it had all the elements that Eugene is shooting for, right? He's got it in their hands for the last two phases, and it becomes super mysterious when they do it. It's everything you want out of a magic trick, man. And it's simple. He cut the four aces. It's as simple as it gets for a magic trick, right?
When she reaches over and cuts the ace, did you see? I mean, you know, I realize that we're looking at some kind of a magic video where it's not a real live reaction, but you know, it's still, I mean, she was surprised that happened, and she's expecting to see magic, and she was surprised.
Right. You don't expect it to happen in that way.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen when I do it. He's going to make a joke or something, but whoa, hey. It's good. It's good.
Good. That's right. I mean, it's good.
Let's check this out. This one, it's really quick, but it's really great. And I think it's one of the coolest ones yet. So let's check this out. He calls this the world's fastest.
And there you are.
Very good.
Well, now that I'm ready, let's do something kind of strange. I call this the world's fastest card trick. And I call it that because it is the world's fastest card trick. In fact, it is so fast, you're both going to miss it. I tell you that right up front.
All right.
Yes. I'll use the 3 of hearts. The world's fastest card trick. Ooh. Yeah, you can touch it, yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's the most simple effect that there is, just a simple color change, a simple card change. And I think he plays as a real, like, that could be a piece on a TV show. You know what I mean? I think that's wonderful. And that's really starting to get to the place where Eugene, like, is the Eugene that we know, like those kind of quick, hard-hitting effects like that, you know? So
he
good.
was the type of guy. I saw him at one convention and he lectured, and it was like a 45-minute lecture or something, and it was great, you know.
Yeah.
But he didn't perform. Like, why would you have a close-up show and not have him perform? I don't know the answer to that. And so I really feel like I missed out, you know what I mean, in seeing him. Now I've seen him on video a ton.
I think you probably lucked out. I mean, the reality is from what I understand, he did a handful of those. I got to be at one of those, and he didn't start until midnight, and it ended up being like 2 hours. He didn't do any. He turned off all the lights in the room, and
He
just
sat
went
in a chair, right? The room was dark. He sat in a chair and just talked, and it was great.
He
Do
took
not
questions.
get me wrong. It was
questions, and it was just wonderful conversation, and I learned a lot about magic.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I was, but I would, you know, I would have loved it if he at least done a show.
Yeah,
you know,
fair enough.
Like I want to
see him. He did do the show at the convention that I saw, the one that I'm thinking of specifically. He did do the show, but it was like a couple pieces in the stand-up show. He didn't do close-up for sure.
Right.
But he seemed to be accessible to talk about all that stuff, but he was not.
Oh, he was super nice.
As a thing.
Super nice.
Oh yeah.
In the bar till
Eugene is
4
a kind
a.m.
man.
He would have fit
Just a
in at a
kind
Summit.
man.
Yeah, he would have fit in at a Summit. He was at the bar 4 a.m. ordering another round. You know, where's the hospitality suite? You know, he would have been just like one of us.
I think that's really the truth. He was
really do.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a one of a kind. He's a one of a kind. Amazing. And a real champion for Al Baker. You know, that was one of the things that I got from Eugene that was a hidden surprise, was just learning about Al Baker and then being able to start the journey of learning about the magic of Al Baker. Eugene was really one of the big proponents, and he sort of brought back to life a lot of the Al Baker things, like the Haunted Pack. You know, just the Haunted Pack in general. Eugene made it sort of famous again when it was not cool. And he has a real practical method, you know, that he can do walk around. And a lot of the magic of Al Baker is just super strong, and he's sort of been there, done that before. Most of the people have done a lot of the things that we see as like what would be modern magic. A lot of it is pretty much what Al Baker was doing. And I hate to be the guy that says, go and find this book that's out of print and you can't find it. But The Secret Ways of Al Baker is all of the Al Baker books in one. And it's really one of the best magic books that's ever been released, just because it's all of his books in one place. It's really fabulous.
It's, you know,
so I'll just leave it.
The thing about magic is books, man. It's like all the good stuff is in the books.
Books are where it's at. That's I've found that books are where it's at. I mean, tricks are great. It's nice to buy tricks. It's nice to buy devices, and you know, I love James Bond.
I love them. 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 I like the neat little
totally
thing that
into
does something.
Totally, it's like a toy for us.
Yeah.
I love it, but at the same time, if you really want to learn the principles of magic, you know, you look at just tried and true pieces that are written out in these books where, yeah, you might have to build a gimmick, maybe not, maybe it's something you have around, but that's where the real secrets are. They're in all those old books. And if I know anything about magic, it's because of a bunch of magic books, you know. Guys like Eugene Berg help put those things into context, you know, because for me in the beginning, it was all books.
That's it.
And then I went on the hunt, and I had to go and meet the people that wrote the books that were still around and sort of ask questions, you know, find out why. Why are these things written? How did you come up with these things? What's going on there? What are the real secrets of these? You can't really put in a book. But we could sort of glean through conversation, you know, and that was the second part of the education.
Yeah.
Right? Going and hang with the folks that you can. Beautiful thing.
It is.
Well,
it really is, man. I met some
another successful
people. Yeah, I mean, I made some great friends. I mean, magic has just been so great because you get to meet those people, you know?
I say it often. Magic has brought me the best things in my life, you know, the best people in my life, the best things, the best experiences. Like a lot of things that would never have happened in my life are happening because of magic. And it's so true what you're saying. I mean, it's really just, it's all these relationships, these common interests that we have in this thing. It bridges gaps that wouldn't necessarily be.
I've gotten to do so many things I would have never done. I've been to places I never would have gotten access to ever in my entire life. I've done so many things just from that. And, you know, I say to Chrissy and I laugh all the time. I go, I'll probably never be a rich guy, but boy, I had some fun. You know, I did some really cool shit, you know?
That's right. Definitely rich experiences. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
about
definitely. Definitely. You know, definitely.
Yeah.
I probably should have lied and say, well, I not only am I a rich man, but I get to do all these other great things.
Well, but some folks that are really rich, they can't, you know, see how exciting and beautiful some of those experiences that you're talking about even are, because they're, you know, might be jaded, you know. Those sort of experiences are just commonplace everyday things, and they don't see the special anymore. You know?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, for me, I think people experience that joy in different ways, you know, but it really just comes from on a base level, like when you just put a lot of time and effort into something and a lot of care, you know, and then you succeed at it, right? And people feel that in all different ways, but that's what I get out of magic, you know, and luckily people like what I do, so then I get to do more things, you know.
Right. And you know, what a great gift to give to people when you're actually performing magic. I mean, what a great gift, you know, to give that experience to someone that you can sort of like make them free of their world. I love it.
Yeah, I had my every year I get a quote or something, you know. Last year was the yes year, which didn't really work out. No, actually this was last year.
Right. Yeah.
Magic is your gift.
There it is.
Magic is your gift. And it's so true. It's like, you know, that's the thing, you know, like you know, it's the thing that you could give to the world that they don't even know they want. But when you give it to them,
that's right.
They want it.
It changes things.
It changes things.
The energy of the room, and it probably changes their mind about a few things. Gives more ability, right? If that's possible, what else could be possible? I think it creates optimism, you know. Hey, magic is a beautiful thing. It is a great gift. All right.
Sure is, Alex. It sure is.
Let's go into the after show, and then we can talk about things that, you know, where we can cut loose and not have to worry about censoring ourselves.
Oh yeah. I'm censoring real bad here. As always.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Do us a favor and hit the like button, which tells everyone that we're doing a good job with these videos. And while you're at it, subscribe to Conjuror Community right now, so you'll be notified when we go live with new magic videos. By the way, if you've never tried out Copper Magic Club, you should check out our club, Conjuror Community Club. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.